All right, let's move on to Niners, Patriots. Nobody more enjoyable capping Niners football with than Bebsy and not Flush Allen. Two guys that I enjoy immensely. New England opens up at -3. That was juiced. This is Bet365 openers at -120. It's now 2.5 across the board, and the first twos are also on the board. This total opened up at 45.5. Now there are 44.5s. 44.5. Niners 3-3, 2-0 on the road. Patriots 2-3, 2-1 at home. Niners coming off big 24-16 win at home over the Rams. Garoppolo threw 3 TD passes in the first half, finished with 268 yards. And all I could think watching it was, why am I not on his over after that debacle? I mean, it's just, I do it in NBA with player props so well. I don't know why I'm not doing it in NFL when a guy like Jimmy G has a horrible game and then he gets another opportunity and he's at home back-to-back weeks. It was just a mistake. Only one of – okay, so now this – so lots of interesting pieces with this Niners team, Bebsy, and let's talk about Garoppolo first. So he's 268 yards on 23-33 passing. Only one of Jimmy G's completions came on a pass that was thrown at least 15 yards downfield. Garoppolo is 4 for 15 for 104 yards, no TDs, 2 interceptions for a league worst 16.4 rating on passes at least 15 yards downfield. I mean, that's shocking. And then another thing that happened that completely changed and flipped the script was Niners had allowed 5 sacks in back-to-back games, and they completely shut down Aaron Donald. The offensive line was incredible. The Rams had no sacks and only 5 pressures. A season low 2 pressures from Donald. And then we have Jason Verrett. How this guy is just being spectacular, Bebsy. He started 4 games in a row for the first time since 2016. He's already had more defensive snaps this year than he had in the previous 3 combined. And look at these numbers. He's allowing a passer rating of 7.8 on passes thrown in his direction this season. That's unbelievable. I mean, when I say that out loud, I was shocked. The Rams were able to gash Niners defense on the ground at times. 113 yards, 19 carries, 5.95 yards per carry. That's the 4th worst since Shanahan arrived in 2017. Raheem Mostert, high ankle sprain, on injured reserve. Ben Garland, headed to injured reserve with a calf injury. Jaquiski Tart, Trent Williams. Tart with a groin, Trent Williams with an ankle will both be reevaluated later this week. Before we get into the Patriots, let's talk about the Niners. This is a team that's drastically changing week to week.
There is almost no starters left on either side of the ball. I've never seen anything quite like it. And yet they managed to beat a decent divisional opponent. But the reason I'm going against the Niners this week is, I'm going to oversimplify it here. As soon as Mostert is out, this team shuts it down on offense right now. Tevin Coleman has been out for a while, but he's kind of been a non-factor. Jerick McKinnon came out. He had a very nice start to the season, but he's been doing nothing. Jeff Wilson Jr. seems to be like that guy you can bring in to pound out the end of a game, and he does well, but he's also hurt. I think the Niners have to start JaMychal Hasty, who's an undrafted rookie who really has looked good in limited action. But without Mostert, they're going to struggle offensively. You saw their offense shut down. They jumped out to an early lead with him in the game, and then they held on for dear life. Now, if they don't have Trent Williams, and they don't have Jaquiski Tart, and they don't have Ben Garland, and Mostert is on IR, and they're not really getting anyone back yet from injury, this seems like an easy play to travel across the country and go into Bill Belichick's den. Bill's got a plan for this team. And anytime Bill Belichick is overly praising an opponent, like he really gushed about George Kittle this week, said he's as good as anyone at tight end he's ever coached or played against, which feels like an attack on Gronkowski. I don't know. You make your own decision with that. But anytime Bill heaps praise on somebody like that, it's like he's got a plan for them. It's almost like he's trying to get them off their game. So I'm all New England on this one.
Wow. All New England on this one. Wow. It sounds to me like the under is in play.
Well, what's the under sitting at here?
Open at 45.5. It's either at 45 or 44.5. Why don't we take a look at what the weather is going to be here? Foxborough. Let's see what we're dealing with on Sunday. Oh, it's nice. It gets a little colder, but game time, this is like a 4 o'clock game or something, right? It's about 50, winds 6 miles per hour. It's a nice day.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't think McKinnon can get it done as the number one. He's a nice change of pace back, but I don't think he's a number one back. The biggest factor in this game, believe it or not, is how well an undrafted rookie running back can move the ball. Because if he comes in, Jermichael Hasty, if he comes in and he plays like he has looked in limited action, the Niners can play ball. Because everything they do offensively is predicated off the run. And I don't know if I was saying this on the show or just talking to somebody else last week about the Niners. If Shanahan comes out with a game plan like he did this week that features getting the ball in the hands of Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, that doesn't require Jimmy to throw the ball down the field, then they can move the ball. And it's like they did that a couple weeks ago against, who was it? Not Miami, but the week before. I can't remember. But they looked ugly out the gates. And then all of a sudden they put together this drive that was all it was just like Jimmy G just dishing the ball and letting they call them themselves the Yak Bros now. And that's the only way this offense can move the ball. Jimmy G's obviously still playing hurt, but he can't throw the ball down the field very well, even when he's not hurt. So that's the way they're going to have to attack teams. But if there's anybody who can break that down, it's Bill Belichick.
Well, just give a shout out to my man Nuke Worker. Going back, got to work tomorrow at Darlington Nuclear. My man Nuke Worker in the house. Okay, let's talk. So the Niners have difficulty stopping the run. But Sony Michel is on the COVID list, and the Patriots couldn't do anything on the ground against the Broncos. And there are some really good points being made here by the chat. Al Cervic said, New England had the worst prep week anyone could ever have, then played at altitude early. Come on. Steel Curtin says, let us not forget Patriots were out of practice a lot last week, which could have attributed to the poor showing against the Broncos. I like Pat's in this spot. So the COVID issues, they only had one true practice. They shut down their facility multiple times. This is the first time the Patriots have had a losing record after 5 games since the 2001 season. Cam Newton, 17-25 for 157 yards. He rushed for 10 times for 76 yards. Nobody else was able to move the ball. Harris went 6 carries for 19 yards. Burke had 5 carries for 14 yards. They lose their right tackle, Jermaine Aluminior. He doesn't return. They also lost their defensive lineman, Adam Butler, an elbow injury. But I guess Newton might be, God, I got to stay away from these props. But you have to think that Newton rush yards could be in play here. Do you think that the Patriots can move the ball without Sony Michel on the ground?
Yeah. Look, the Niners defense has overcome a ton of injury woes, but their run defense struggled a bit last year as well, even with a team that went to the Super Bowl. And even without Sony Michel, I think New England can move the ball, but just just for argument's sake, just to this is why I'm leaning heavily on the Pats. This is the 49ers Week 7 injury table. Raheem Mostert, Ben Garland, Jaquaski Tart, K1 Williams, Quan Alexander, Dante Johnson, Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, D Ford, Tevin Coleman, Jeff Wilson, Weston Richburg, Ronnie Blair, Solomon Thomas, Julian Taylor, Jalen Hurd, Jordan Reed, Mark Nazacha, Ziggy Ansah, Tavon Austin. Those are the guys that aren't playing this week due to injury. Some of them aren't playing for the year. Some of them are on IR. How can a team like that, with that many injuries, and that's not even counting Trent Williams, that's not even on that list because we don't know if he's going to play or not. How are they going to cross the country and play Bill Belichick coming off a loss?
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. But at this point, Bebsy, it opens at -3. The leading indicator books are giving you almost plus a hundo, like even money, to take the 2.5. One book's already moved it to 2. So public's coming in on San Francisco.
Yeah, the public's stupid. No offense, guys, but this is look, if the Niners would have come out flat again this week, everyone flip-flops every week. They get pumped by Miami, and then they think that they don't have a chance against the Rams. Then they beat the Rams, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, you can cross the country and play New England. The bottom line is there's no one left on this Niners football team, and they are going against a very well-coached football team. And look, Shanahan is going to go – the Shanahan is going to go against Bill Belichick right now with his game, and his strategy has to be come into this game, get the ball into the hands of Deebo Samuel. Man, did Deebo Samuel look fantastic last week with the ball in his hands. He runs like a truck. It looks like people are making business decisions getting out of that guy's way, and he's a wide receiver. You don't think Bill's got a plan for that?
I agree, but I don't think the time is now to bet this.
What, you think it closes?
I think this goes to -2. 1.5 could hit the board. It's a recency, vividness. I think that. Let's see. I mean, I'm not telling you not to make the move now.
Well, here's the thing, Jimmy. Yes, you could be right, but if they evaluate and it's Tart and Williams, Trent Williams, if those two guys are out, then it goes the other way. Then the money starts coming in. So you're almost gambling on those injuries right now.
You're absolutely right.
Because if Trent Williams is injured and they got to bring in Justin School, who was a 6th-round pick last year and is their swing tackle, he's not Trent Williams. So how much more is this offense going to struggle without Raheem Mostert and Trent Williams? And so all of a sudden, then it shifts, and now you're looking at, -4s and -4.5s, maybe even a -5. Not a minus. No left tackle in the league is going to swing at 2 points, but
yeah. Okay. No, that makes a ton of sense. I can give you -2.5 right now at Bet America at -106.
Yeah, give it to me.
It's also at FanDuel. Patriots -2.5, -106. Go with FanDuel here. And I wanted to. I'm at -2.5 and -110.
I mean, what other team has that many injuries to that many stars and is still playing competitive football?
And then I think that the under is appealing here. What is keeping you off the under?
What is keeping me off the under is Kyle Shanahan's ability to manufacture points. Even without star players, even without, I don't know. this again, that Trent Williams injury, if he's not playing, and Tart is such an underrated player.
Well, I'm going to move on the under.
I get why. This could be a slog.
Weather's perfect, but the 45s are gone. It opened at 45.5. There's a 44 on the board right now. Dennis Garcia said, how did San Francisco score TDs? I like this. This is a fun breakdown. Patriots -2.5 for Bebsy. He's getting a better line than what I'm expecting I'm going to get when I bet it in about 45 minutes, which would be I'm getting -110, he's getting -106. Then I'm on the under 44.5. That was a fun breakdown.